Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one tip for every legend, because we have a bunch of legends running around the Apex games right now. And even if you're not looking for a tip for your main specifically, it is always nice to know how other legends want to use their tips so you can better counter them. So we're going to be diving in and breaking them all down, but just quickly, if you guys are here, it's very clear that you want to step up your Apex game, and if that's the case, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there, we have top level coaches creating the best guides and courses for Apex. We got mechanical guides, we got legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and much more, all to make you the best player you can possibly be. So if you really want to become a dominant force in Apex, click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, with that out of the way, let's jump right into the tips, and what better legend to start with than Ashe? Now Ashe's passive is insanely useful. Not only do you get to see where people are fighting on the map, but if you run up to a death box, you can scan it to see where the surviving attackers are. But you should always be careful when marking death boxes. If you mark a box and that team has only fought once, they will know exactly where you are. Now that's not to say that you should never mark death boxes out of fear, but just always play as if the team will know exactly where you are, so that you don't get caught off guard if they come chasing back after you. Now next up is Bangalore. And I see this happen all the time with Bangalore players where they get caught out and need to make a fast getaway. If you are running away from a team, then you can use your ultimate to buy you some time. But instead of throwing it backwards at the enemy, what you should do is throw it slightly in front of you so that the rockets come down in front of you in that wave. This will then create a barrier between you and the enemy team as the rockets explode. And hey, if you get lucky and time it right, you may even catch one of them in the area and be able to get some damage out. But this will buy you enough time to make your getaway. Now next up we have Bloodhound. Bloodhound's scan only goes 75 meters. And I see this happen to people all the time where they throw their scan out thinking that it will reach somewhere and it just falls short. If you are unsure if your scan will reach a certain area, then just ping it beforehand. You can then see the distance away that location is and you'll know if your scan will reach it or not. Then you won't have to waste your scan on something that wouldn't have worked anyway. Next up we got Caustic, and for Caustic this one is going to be for kicking down doors, because it's really annoying to get somebody low and then they dip behind a door and start to pop a battery. But if you go to kick the door down, then you leave yourself very vulnerable. So as Caustic, before you start to kick the door down, throw your ultimate at your feet. As soon as the door breaks, the enemy will be hit by the gas. Then you won't be as easy of a target because they will be disoriented and they won't be able to see as much. This will also probably catch them off guard enough for you to get the kill on them, because they will be slowed, they're not going to be sure what to do, they're going to be panicking, and it's just cleanup for you. Next up for Crypto, this one is going to be get off your damn drone, people. Unless you have set out with a specific goal or are 100% sure that your team is not fighting at that specific time, then stop sitting on your drone all game. When you're just on your drone flying it around haphazardly, you're putting your team in 2v3 situations, and that can easily throw fights. Only get on the drone when you have a clear goal in mind, like setting up for an EMP, scanning a beacon, or even checking a building. Then once you're done, get off of it, possibly even recall it to make sure that it's safe, and then fight with your team. Now for Fuse, you can actually zoom in while you're holding out his mother load. This is actually super helpful if you're the type of player who never has a long range optic on them. Maybe you're the type of person that loves to run a shotgun and SMG combo and you won't really have an ability to scan the horizon to make sure that you're not running up on a team. But with the mother load, you get a nice zoom in optic without having to waste a spot on your weapons. Now next up we have Gibby, and Gibraltar has a massively huge hitbox. His armor do be thick. And with this, I see way too many Gibbies try to make really small, fast, little strafes. And this actually hurts them. As Gibraltar, you always want to make more exaggerated strafes in order to be actually getting the usefulness out of said strafe. If you make them too tight and too fast, his hitbox won't actually clear the area, and the enemy won't even have to adjust their aim, because some part of you will always be in the exact same spot that their reticle is, and they will always be hitting shots on you. Now next up for Horizon, and for you Moon Mommy players, don't be afraid to use your ultimate to kill one person. Too many Horizons hold their ultimate looking for the best 3-man suck-off. But if you're able to use your ultimate to kill one person, that is also really good. Being able to single out that one enemy makes fights instantly a 3v2, and then they're able to just clean up the fight really quickly afterwards and avoid third parties. Don't underestimate the power of downing one person in a fight extremely quickly. Now next up we have Lifeline, and Lifeline is in a really weird state right now. but with her battle res, your teammates actually have the ability to cancel the revive on their own. So if you're in a party chat with someone and you can kind of pre-plan an attack, then you can have them help you bait a res. What you're going to want to do is start the revive on your teammate to draw the enemy out. People love to thirst a lifeline revive, they will do anything to stop it. Then you just have your friend cancel it and you can play their knockdown shield versus someone who just threw themselves out of position trying to get that thirst. Playing off other people's offensiveness is a huge boost to your gameplay because when they throw themselves out of position, you can take advantage of that. Now next up we have Loba, and when you first put Loba's black market down, there is that huge pulse that shows off in the area where exactly Loba is. But even if no one was around to see you throw the ultimate down, there are still signs that one is in the area. When someone is using the black market, all of the items in the area start to float, letting people know that a Loba is near. If people know that a Loba is near, then they can kind of start to use deductive reasoning to figure out exactly where the Loba is. And then that will give away your position when maybe you didn't want a team to know where you were. So if you don't need anything out of the black market, it's not worth it to just sit in there and look around. You're letting people know where you are. Get off of it. Now next up we have Mad Maggie, and for Maggie, don't feel forced to run a shotgun. I know that her passive is really nice to have that speed boost with it, but if you have a fully kitted car but you also find a noble peacekeeper, the car is a better option. You still have the scam portion of her passive, so you're not fully letting it go to waste by not running a shotgun. Sometimes people try to force things when they shouldn't, and that can hurt you in games. Run whatever is best for you in that moment and in that game. No Apex game is exactly alike, and even though Mad Maggie does like to use shotguns, sometimes in that specific game the shotgun isn't the right thing. Now next up for Mirage, before reviving a teammate, make sure that even if a knocked enemy is near, they cannot see you. I've had it happen way too often that a Mirage will res right in front of one of my teammates because they're knocked and he doesn't think that they can do anything about it. But what they can do is ping exactly where you are and give callouts to their teammates. Then you're just kind of screwed because you're sitting duck. It takes an extra second or two to make sure that you don't get swamped when reviving by just checking and seeing if anybody can see you. Now for Newcastle, even though you can't glitch arc stars through walls anymore because as soon as they collide with the wall they just fall off, you can still stick them to your tactical. So if you're trying to push into a room or a specific area where the team is holding but you need to get an opening, you can throw an arc star onto your tactical, push it into the room, and as soon as it gets in there the arc star will blow up and cause a massive panic inside there. This will give you and your team the opening that you need in order to push in and make a play. But again, make sure that it doesn't hit a wall because if it does, then the arc star will fall off. Now for all you Octane players out there, your stim breaks any crowd control effects. So if you get hit by something like an arc star, you don't want to get slowed afterwards, just use your stim and that will break off the slow. But always keep in mind to make sure that you use the stim after you get hit by the CC. If you use it before, it won't work. The effect has to be on you in order for the stim to cleanse it. Moving on to Pathfinder, Path has an insanely high skill ceiling when it comes to his kit. There's zip jumps, zip dashes, zip E dashes, mega grapples, slingshot grapples, and tons more that you can learn with his abilities. There are so many techniques that his kit has, the sky is the limit on what you want to learn. So as a Pathfinder main, it is worth it to spend that extra little bit of time in the firing range perfecting and mastering these techniques so that you can use them to the fullest extent in games when you're under pressure. I see a lot of people think they know how to do something, but as soon as you add a little bit of pressure by shooting at them, they freeze up and they don't know what to do. Make sure that you have your Pathfinder techniques mastered to the point that you can do them blindfolded. Now for Rampart, your ultimate makes a metric butt ton of noise when it spins up. So if you want to catch people off guard, try to coordinate with your teammates to have them make a lot of noise beforehand. Something like grenades, gunfire, using other abilities, or just something like that to cover up the spin up of Sheila, and then you can blast the enemy team away because they didn't hear the spin up of it. Next up we have Revenant. Now for all you Rev mains, the thing that I want you guys to do is hop on Google and search up the nearest therapist office because you need it. But then after that, what you guys need to do is stop being a baby when you're in your shadow form. Way too many people play timid when using his death protection. When in that state, you want to be aggressive and use it to the fullest extent because it's a free chance to rush somebody and knock them. If you dick around for too long, the totem effect will end and you will have done nothing, so stop being scared to push people. Next up we have Seer, and his tactical is not a fight opener. Yes, it is nice to have that scan, but that's basically what his ultimate is for. His tactical should be saved and used mainly for stopping healing and revives. If you throw his tactical and then you throw his ultimate, it's redundant. You're effectively just getting the same information, and if you get into a specific spot where you need to cancel someone's healing or revive in order to win the fight, then you won't have your tactical. So stop opening fights with it. Now for Valkyrie, you guys run out of flight juice hella quickly. So before you start to use your jetpack, always make sure that you have a pre-planned route in your head. Know exactly where you want to go, because if you don't and you waste time, you might not have enough flight juice to make it to where you want to go. And if that's the case, then you can be caught off guard without your passive and you're essentially just a sitting duck. Now next up we have Vantage, and Vantage's ultimate sniper is insanely good at thirsting enemies. If you down someone that has been tagged already by your sniper, instantly pop them again while they're downed. It does 100 damage and instantly thirsts them, so they will not be getting back into the fight and their team is down a member. And guys, don't worry about using the bullet to do this. It is worth it every single time to make sure that that person cannot get back into the fight. If the enemy team has a Newcastle or Gibraltar, you never know how effectively the revive can be, so you just want to get them out of the game. Moving into Watson, every single Watson is always trying to do that door trick where they place one side of the fence on one side of the door, and then as soon as somebody comes up to try to kick the door, they place the other side down and it catches them in the fence. But remember that Watson can hook her fences up to other Watson's fences. So if you're the one on the other side of the door, what you can do is hook your Watson fence up to the enemy Watson fence and connect it through the door and catch her off guard, effectively pulling the Uno reverse card on them. Even Watson mains forget that you can connect up to enemy Watson fences. So nobody really expects this. And now for Wraith, when you're running away using your portal, if you know that the enemy that's chasing you will go through your portal as soon as it's placed down, instead of running in front of it and trying to fight them head on, back up a little bit and go behind the portal. With the time it takes them to come out of the portal, get their gun ready, turn around, find you and start to shoot at you, that is more than enough time to get a one clip off and secure a free kill. But now that was a ton of information just thrown at you guys, so now I have a question for you. Who is your favorite legend right now to play? And why are they your favorite? Do you think that they're strong? Are they just fun to play? Let me know in the comments down below, I would love to hear more. And with all this being said guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did and you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming and I will see you in the next one.